What's going on YouTube? This is Brian916. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about some of the crazy customer experiences that I've dealt with. Being in the automotive repair field, you run into all types of people and you got to deal with people and people's personalities. I'm just going to share some of the crazy experiences that I've dealt with dealing with people in this business. I'm going to start off with this one woman who was completely crazy. She brought me, what was it? It was an older Toyota Land Cruiser, the classic body style Land Cruiser. Oh, I can't remember the year. But anyway, she wanted a clutch, she wanted a clutch job done. So Ross, my tow guy, which I'm doing some brakes on his Ram 2500 right now, so stay tuned for that video. But she wanted a clutch job done because it was stuck in first gear and there was like no pedal. There was no pressure whatsoever at the pedal. So I had Ross tow it in, and at this time my wife was working here with me at the shop full time, and I asked her to go and bring it in, and she fired it up. I'm working on something else, I just hear it smash into something. Luckily it was like a chain link fence. It wasn't like a brick wall or nothing. But I heard, she almost ran the whole fence down. Like I heard it, so I ran outside, and I'm thinking like, what the, I'm arguing my wife down, like, what's wrong with you? And she's like, there's no brakes, there's no brakes. I tried to do this and that. She's trying to explain it. So I'm like, give me the keys. So I jump in there and couldn't put it in reverse because it's like stuck at first. So we pushed it back. And so I jump in after we pushed it back far enough. I fire it up and I get ready to pull in, and sure enough, I started it up. Obviously it'll just take off because it's stuck in first, right? And so I'm expecting that because it's stuck in first. And so I fired it up like an idiot. I didn't check to see if the brakes worked, even though my wife just told me it had no brakes. I just assumed she panicked because it just took off as soon as you started it, I figured she just panicked. And so I started it, and sure enough, the vehicle took off, no problem. Getting ready to turn it in, and step on the brakes, went straight to the floor. Couldn't do nothing with the clutch. Basically had to just shut the motor off, and went to hit the emergency brake, and no emergency brake either. So I had to like jump out of the car while it was coasting and like Fred Flintstone style slow it down. And so I called the customer back, told her, how come you didn't tell us it didn't have brakes? You should have told us it didn't have brakes. And she, I told her, you probably don't want a clutch job done. We should probably sort out these brakes before we get to the clutch. And, so she was completely crazy and started yelling at the top of her lungs at me. And I told her, I'm gonna have her vehicle towed back to her. You don't owe us nothing. We'll have it sent back to us. Good luck with your vehicle. So I had Ross, my tow guy, tow it back. This crazy woman came back to the shop and just like poked her head. Like I didn't see her body. She just poked her head like into the shop. And I'm looking like, can I help you? And she immediately started yelling at the top of her lungs at me. And I could just like look this woman in her eyes and could tell she was like seriously like mentally ill, to the point where I had to like close up the shop and like lock up the shop. And Des, the auto tech, was like, damn, that woman was crazy. To the point where I thought we might have to call the police on this woman. So that was one experience that I had. The next experience that I had this dude once who wanted to do a trade deal with me. And I actually get a lot of people who trade, you know. I prefer cash, you know, but some people want to trade, and depending on the trade, I'll entertain it. But this guy said he had some rare coin that was worth a lot of money, and right there I thought to myself, if you have something valuable that's worth a lot of money, why won't you just, you know, pawn it or trade it in, or, you know, get the value for it and then go pay for whatever it is you need to pay for. So I was already leery. But he told me he had a rare coin and was explaining the coin, and I'm thinking, it sounded legit, so I'm thinking maybe it's a Buffalo nickel or something like that. I know you can get like 5 or 6 grand for those things. And so I told him, send me a picture of it, and the picture he sent me was suspect. So, you know, I told him, send me a better picture, because it looked like a picture of a picture. So then he sent me a picture of a coin, but I mean, I looked at the date on the coin. The date on it was like 1983. So I passed on it, and that was kind of funny. Also had a guy who wanted to trade me auto repair for a hot tub. Again, I told him send me pictures of it, and obviously I passed on it. The thing was filthy. A woman coming to the shop, she started speaking to Des, the auto tech, and asked if he was Brian, and he said no, pointed her over to me. So she came over to me and said, you know, I was highly recommended by a friend and whatnot, and, you know, proceeded to give me a sad story. And usually when I hear a sad story, I know either somebody wants something for free or next to nothing. So, you know, I don't interrupt her. I let her tell me her sad story. And, you know, so of course at the end of the sad story, she doesn't have any money for, you know, whatever reasons, and asked me would I be willing to trade for adult services, right? So Des is over there in the corner chuckling, and I told her, what do you mean adult services? And like rated X services? And the woman was like, yeah. And I mean, some of you guys out there might be thinking that might have been a great deal, but nobody said she was a supermodel, you know? So obviously I passed on it. I told her, sorry, I couldn't help her with that. And you know, I'd be more than willing to work with her, you know, on trying to finance the repair, and I let her make payments or something like that to try to help her out. But I turned down her sexual advances or her sexual offer for the repair. So that was a crazy one I dealt with. My most recent experience was a guy who needed a motor swap on a Cadillac CTS, and I hate working on Cadillacs, by the way. You know, we negotiated a price. You know, I had Ross, my tow guy, go pick it up. I had been sitting in his garage for like 4 years. The license plate tag was like, you know, for 4 years back. And so I know it's been sitting for a while. Anyway, so we negotiate. I call my guy Riz, who I get most of my motors and transmissions from. Shout out to Riz if you're watching this. Riz hooked me up with a nice CTS motor. He always gives me good engines and good transmissions. I really don't have to worry too much about it. I always get good stuff from him. And so, you know, we lower the whole power plant out, because that's the way you do it on most GMs, as you guys know. So we lowered the whole power plant out of the vehicle, or, you know, we left the power plant on the ground rather than raised the vehicle off the power plant. And so, you know, now that we got the body off the power plant, you know, we swapped the motor over, you know, get everything hooked back up, lower the motor, or lower the body back down on the motor, get everything hooked up. We also took the liberty of resealing everything, because you don't want to go back in there. We changed the spark plugs, thermostat, everything, you know, we hooked them up. And so we got it running. The thing was so quiet and smooth. I mean, it really felt like a Cadillac when we got done. And so when it was time for the guy to come and pick it up, he basically tried to take the car without paying. So Des ended up having to to drive another car in front of the Cadillac so he couldn't take it. He tried to take it from us, and obviously we didn't let him take it. He took his key and ran off with his key. So anyway, I had to call a locksmith to come out and make us another key for his vehicle. So he made us another key. We basically, I took his vehicle from the shop and I parked it at home in my garage, and until he, paid us. And so he sent me a bunch of threatening text messages, one after another, literally just hitting me with hundreds of threatening text messages, just really harassing me every day, text message after text message, how he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. His family is so connected in California and they working on, for the government. He's gonna have my business shut down and blah, 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 and all these threats. And I would just, text him back like, just pay your bill, man. And so anyway, he shows up like a few days later with Sacramento PD and thought that the police was gonna make us give him his vehicle. So, my wife was working, back with me full time, and she showed the police the invoice and how he didn't pay, and he owes X amount of money. Besides, the vehicle wasn't there anyway. I already had parked it somewhere else, so he couldn't get it. And the police officers was basically like, this is a civil matter, there's nothing you can do. And so I immediately filed a lien to take ownership of his vehicle. Somehow he was able to stop that lien. To this day, I really don't know. Other vehicles that I've liened in the past that people like abandoned, or we fix it and they never come back and pick it up. Other vehicles that I've liened, no problems, it goes through quick, and I take possession of the vehicle. He was able to stop it somehow. To this day, I still don't know how. But anyway, so I sued the guy. I took him to small claims court. I won. The judge didn't really want to hear much of what he had to say. He tried to explain to the judge that the job wasn't done right, and we dropped the engine from the bottom. It's supposed to be taken out from the top. Just don't know what he's talking about. The guy got on stand and was just lying, making up all kind of stuff, saying that there's an auto tech was using his size to physically intimidate him. And I was calling him racial slurs towards white people, and just making up all kind of stuff. And I called his wife names and this and that, and called her a B, and said racial stuff towards him, and saying that I hated all white people and all this stuff. Just making up all kind of crazy stuff. And the judge had about enough of that guy. He let him talk for a few minutes, interrupted him, basically asked me how much does he owe. I told her how much he owed. The judge ruled in our favor, no problem. So I still kept his vehicle probably for about 3 months before I was able to get the payment out of him. It was still hard to get the payment from him. So finally we got the payment from him, and then I took him back to court again, and I sued him for storage because we kept the vehicle. It had been maybe 6 months now that I had to store the vehicle. Excuse me. So I sued him for storage as well. Same thing on that case. Won that case. The judge really didn't understand what he was talking about. He came to court being stupid. So the guy ended up paying me way more than what he would have paid if he just paid his bill. So that was the most recent crazy customer that I dealt with. But I deal with a lot of different people and different people's personalities, especially in the automotive repair business. Everybody has a car. Everybody needs auto repair, so you end up running in across all kind of crazy people. So anyway, guys, those are the most recent crazy customers that I've dealt with. I've been in business for a while, so I've dealt with a lot of crazy customers, but those are the most recent ones. Anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. This is Brian916. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. How you doing?
15.
Got a better part. I just take that whole stack there.
I wish I could. I'm sorry, I had to give you a bunch of ones here.
That's all right. Thank you.
There's 35. And then you'll need your receipt to exit, so don't toss it out, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Have a good one.
You too. Fuck out of the way. What's wrong with that guy?
Tonight's starting lineups presented by VSP Vision Care for Life. And let's go ahead and keep these starting lineups for the visiting Los Angeles Lakers. Jump ball. Here we go.